and welcome back to Kashi Confessions. Today, my guest is a story producer and also a post-production coordinator. His post-production experience includes working with Marvel, Skydance, and Apple TV+. He's also a story producer at Fox Reality Check with Kalen Allen. My guest is Ryan Nilsen. Welcome,
Woo!
Ryan.
Yes.
Yes.
You gotta add some clapping.
Yes.
Thank you so much for having me.
Of course.
It's an honor. I'm so impressed by this entire setup and studio and layout. This is like a legit great podcast. I'm into it. Honored to be here.
Thank you
was
so
listening to the
much.
other episodes and was so impressed by your other guests. So I'm very flattered to be invited.
Thanks. I'm really happy to have you on and get into everything regarding your career.
Amazing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Where do we begin?
Let's start how we met. We're
Yes.
both Temple alum.
Temple Owls.
Yes. And
Lion.
exactly, from Philly to LA.
That's right.
And you came and spoke in one of my college classes my last semester.
That's right. It was a study away program. So yeah, I did that my final semester senior year.
Yeah.
And you did that as well.
Yeah.
And the person running the show kind of invited me to speak to some of the alumni, and yeah, you were one of the students that semester. So
Yeah.
it's been great. Yeah, I've been lucky enough to be invited to do that a couple of times because when I was in the program, I was like really looking up to people who were coming in and speaking. So another just kind of like full circle moment. Really cool that I'm now doing that with some other alumni. But now you're gonna do that eventually in the future.
Yeah. It's so cool to have like alumni come and speak to students because it's so inspiring to hear people that went through the same program we did doing the things that we want to do.
Right.
Yeah.
From Philly.
Yeah.
Go Birds.
Exactly.
Boom.
And then we reconnected at one of the Temple alumni mixer events in LA, which is also really cool that our school does that out here.
I know, I love those. Temple was like such an amazing decision. I'm so glad I went there. They have an amazing program, especially for entertainment. And I don't know what your like process was for picking the school, but for me, like I visited, and when I visited, the head of the film department introduced me to a grad student who was shooting like his thesis. And he invited me to be a PA that following weekend. So I was like already getting experience. I hadn't even applied yet. So it was kind of a
Wow.
no-brainer for me to go there.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then funny enough, I almost went to the high school that you did. So even back in that.
Unionville.
Yes.
Oh my gosh,
I
Kennett
went-
Square.
Yeah.
Mushroom capital of the world.
Yes. I lived there for like the beginning of like, middle school.
Oh, no way.
And then moved. Yeah.
So Charles F. Patton.
Yes, that's where I
Let's
went.
go.
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
Yes.
Yeah, the suburbs of Philadelphia.
Exactly.
Really, yeah, great place to grow up. I love Kennett Square, and I go back every time. I actually went back for New Year's this year.
Oh, nice.
And they do something called the mushroom drop.
Yes.
Kind of like how the ball drop in New York, but it's just a gigantic mushroom, and like 1,000 or the whole population of Kennett Square comes out and they watch it slowly drop. It is such a sweet,
awesome.
fun town. They need to do
Yeah.
a Hallmark movie there.
And they have the best mushroom soup in Kennett
They
Square.
do. I
My
love mushroom
favorite.
soup.
Me too.
It's the best. Yeah, I have nothing but
Yes.
great things to say about Kennett.
Yes. So
Yes.
then growing up, what was it like growing up in Kennett Square?
Oh yeah, I mean, I feel really lucky to have grown up there. My whole life was spent there, so we didn't move around or anything. Like we stayed in the same address. My family and I had like great parents who also kind of grew up in the area. They were more on the Delaware side of things. We're like right on the border of Delaware and Pennsylvania. But it's such a great place to grow up. But it is very like sheltered, and I knew when I was like deciding where I wanted to go for college, I wanted to go to a city. I kind
Yeah.
of wanted to spread my wings and like see the rest of the world because I knew it was just like a pocket and not representative of like the rest of the country or the world. So I was eager to go to a city, like a more diverse environment. And but I love growing up there. It's total like classic Americana. Like when that show Mayor of Easttown came out, like that's exactly
Yeah.
where we grew up. So
Right.
it was neat. I love growing up there, but as you like leave, you kind of are more exposed to like a bunch of different people, especially in a city like Philadelphia.
Yeah.
And it kind of makes you realize like, okay, things are a little more simple where I grew up, and it's a lot more like a complex world.
Totally.
So it was a great place, I think, like when you're young, but I'm glad I, explored and went to another city and get to meet a
Yeah.
bunch of other people.
Yeah, like you said, like spread your wings, kind of get outside your comfort zone.
That's
Because,
right.
yeah, definitely living in Philly is very different from living in the suburbs.
It's different. It's different
Yeah.
in a lot of ways. I think like you're there's a lot of people who feel very similarly about like politics in the suburbs,
Yeah.
or they don't really take into account a lot of those things. And when you're in a city and you know become friends with like a bunch of people from all different backgrounds,
Yep.
and are just also exposed to like a bunch of different classes, and it's I think everyone should live in a city at one point,
Yeah.
even if it's not for you. Like it's a great experience.
I agree because the more perspectives you can get around, the more you have an understanding of the people in the world around you. Where, like you said, living in the suburbs, people are very alike, that they don't really see anyone different than them or get to speak to people with different backgrounds. So I
Oh
think
yeah,
that's the great thing about being in a city and going to Temple. Like, there's all different types of people from all different places, which is really cool.
completely agree.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So, did you always know you wanted to work in entertainment, or what kind of like sparked that interest?
Oh man, high school. I feel like a lot of my friends growing up, like none of my friends that I grew up with pursued the same career path as me. They all sort of knew or had a vague idea of what they wanted to do, whether it was like teaching or being some kind of engineer, or working at like a big company in sales, business, etc. And that I was, that was on my periphery, but and in high school, I mean, I guess in middle school too. Like my parents were like great about showing me some classic movies. I fell in love with the show The Office at like a much younger age than I think a lot of people
Yeah.
tend to have, and it kind of, in a unique way, like seeing my parents go into an office and then watching a show like The Office, like it's all like valid in employment. But I've always had I've had ADHD since I was a kid. So I've always had issues focusing and had
Yeah.
to take like medication to help stay focused during the day, because my mind would wander. And I just knew like being at a 9 to 5 office job for something that I might not necessarily be extremely passionate about was always gonna be like really tricky for me,
Yeah.
no matter how hard I worked. And I did like a theater camp one summer in Delaware where I was the only guy, and I almost quit because I was like embarrassed, but I went and I had the best time. It was so much fun, and it just kind of like I got bit by the bug. And I'd always been into sports too. Like I did sports all high school, but then I started doing that in theater. I was Troy Bolton it up a little, not really. It's so generous, but no, so I did both, and
Yeah.
it was just really fun. And I knew like entertainment was the route, but I fell in love with movies in high school. Like I said, my parents showed me a lot of great movies growing up, but I kind of fell in love with it on my own, and a lot of the exposure to different films that they gave me really made me like go headfirst into like creating and being a part of like a project. And I feel like a lot of people who go to like a film school, they either want to be like a director or a writer.
Yeah.
And of course, like that was me. But then somewhere along the way, I realized like, oh, even if you do everything right as a director or a writer, if you don't have the right team in place, the project might just fall apart.
Totally.
It's a lot of planning and producing, and that's what really drew me to like producing and post-production, with editing, and that's where like the final draft of the screenplay is. And it's project management,
Yeah.
just in an entertainment sense.
Right. I have ADHD as well, so I definitely
There we
always.
go.
Yep. Exactly.
It's a struggle, but it's a
key
fun
to
struggle.
creative mind. Yes,
I think
it's
it
a
is.
fun struggle.
Yeah.
But I totally relate to. I always was drawn to entertainment because even if you're doing the same sort of role, whether you're a producer or a dancer or anything like that, although you're doing the same sort of things, every project is different and every project's going to require something different of you. And I think that was always really interesting to me because I don't want to, the same thing every day is going to get really tough.
Yeah, and I think like not to say like having ADHD would like prevent me from doing any of that type of work, because I've done plenty of that type of work.
Yeah.
It's more just my mind would wander, and entertainment was like a big outlet for me.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to be a part of it in some way, and I think over the past 15 years I've kind of figured out like my lane.
Yeah.
But just knowing like, oh yeah, I want to be a part of a project with a group, and there's like a communal feeling to it where
Yeah.
you're making something to entertain someone.
Right.
And that's important.
Yeah, and that, like, working with a group, like, in school, I always loved those discussion-based classes or, like, group projects and getting to
Yeah.
collaborate, and I think the entertainment industry provides that more than like you're saying, it doesn't ADHD doesn't stop you from doing those, like, 9 to 5 office jobs or things like
Yeah.
that, but I think it can be more fun and collaborative,
Right.
those other types of job
I always like
opportunities.
the presentations.
Yeah,
Like, I
yes.
was always like, "Oh, I'm gonna do something crazy for this
Yeah,
presentation," because that's really what needs to be good at the end of the day. Like, you can do
right.
all the prep, but, you gotta deliver in the presentation and make it entertaining for people.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So at Temple, what skills did you learn? What classes did you take? How'd you prep for a career in entertainment?
Oh my goodness. Well, I'm probably gonna mention my family, my parents a lot
Yeah,
on this show because, I'm really big on, like, influences, and I love
yeah,
identifying influences throughout my life, and they're, like, obviously the biggest influence, but they were always been incredibly supportive, um, and never put like any pressure on me to like do a certain major or follow a certain career path. It was very supportive. I put that pressure on myself. Like I really wanted, if I was going to study film, I did like a minor in business,
yeah,
but if I was going to study film, I kind of wanted to prove like, hey, this major was worth it, and I'm going to get a job out of college. So I designed my entire college experience around that goal. And my freshman year, I learned that Temple has like this LA program, and I was like, okay, I have the best chance of getting a job out of college if I go to LA my last semester, intern, and then
yeah,
the internships can be like, oh, he's not going back, he's staying, we might as well hire him.
right.
So that was a big thing for me scheduling with my college experience. But I also did some internships my junior year in New York because I wanted to get some big budget professional experience outside of working on like some grad theses or local Philly productions, which are also great experiences.
Yeah,
But I was putting that pressure on myself, and that very much like drove me to designing my entire college layout like that. So I had like a general film media arts major,
okay.
and I had two minors. And just like my attitude in college was like, I'm going to try every type of class. I want to do like really fun gen eds. And while I'm in Philadelphia, I know I'm going to end up in LA once I graduate. I might as well intern in New York. So I had like a vigorous New York internship schedule that like every time I tell someone, they think it's crazy. It was nuts. It was for a whole semester. I had classes on Monday, Wednesday, Friday. And the classes on Monday and Wednesday would usually go till like 9:15 p.m.
Okay.
And I would take the train out of Philly at like 9:30 to New York, get there at like 11:30, maybe midnight, and and I had a place like a family friend of a friend's couch I was staying on
Okay.
in Greenwich Village, and that way I could wake up, already be in New York, and just go to the internship,
Yeah.
which was sometimes at 7 or 9 a.m. So,
Wow.
and then do that all the way till 5 o'clock and then go back to Philly. And I was doing that 2 days a week for 9 months.
Wow.
Yeah, it was intense, but I fell in love with the city of New York. And I
Yeah.
was working on like daytime talk shows, and it was cool to see how a like big professional set was run at like such a young age.
Yeah, definitely. And yeah, that work schedule, balancing
Yeah.
school and that internship and maybe not getting as much sleep, you
No.
know. But I think it's so great that you took advantage of the opportunities in Philly, but also New York, because New York is close to Philly.
Right.
And if you take the train, it's not too bad. I would hop on at the train station in what part of
Is it-
Jersey?
Oh, in
Starts with
Jersey?
a- yeah,
Trenton?
starts with an H.
Oh,
That's the other one.
shoot. I don't know. H?
Yeah.
Not okay. Let's see. There's Trenton. There was I don't know where Rutgers is. I forget that stop. It'll come to us.
It'll come to us, but it was basically only a 15-minute drive from Temple, and then
Oh,
getting on the train from there was like $16 to New York, rather than going from Philly to New York. So I would do that and take dance classes in New York and then get back to Philly. So I was on the similar wave of like, I'm gonna take advantage of being so close to New York and find a way to get there. You know?
yeah. Like hustling and New York is really cool because like my family, we've done day trips or
Yeah.
maybe even like we're gonna go for the weekend. And I always remember that being so intimidating because it's so different. Like it's
Yeah.
a gigantic city. There's so many people. The buildings are so high.
Yeah.
It's really nothing. There's nothing else like it. But when I got to work there, that was a completely different experience because you're using the subway practically, and you're kind of like utilizing the coffee shops and like where you're eating practically. Like I need to eat now to go to this job or before I go to bed, XYZ. And I fell in love with it. Like once you master the subway, I felt like a king.
Yeah,
in
you
New
can get
York.
anywhere.
It was great. It was really exciting.
Yeah.
And I love that it's close by to Philly.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Working on those daytime talk shows, what are some skills you learned from that?
Oh my goodness. So yeah, there were 2 daytime talk shows that were filming at like this ABC studio in the Upper West Side.
Cool.
And yeah, one of them, I mean, I was like a production intern. So
Okay.
I was doing a lot of research for segments they're shooting because every talk show usually does a block shooting. So they'll record like multiple episodes in a day.
Right.
And that's so that usually they can take the summer off and they have like a bunch just pre-recorded. They can unload throughout the summer.
Yeah.
Or so that they can take Friday off because usually they don't film on Fridays. It was great. I also, what was cool about that experience were the other interns. Some of them were actively going to school in New York or in like New Hampshire, and they were doing a similar thing as I was. And just kind of hearing about their experience. And there wasn't like a rivalry, but it was very like we're holding each other accountable, where I'm seeing how a talk show's run, like at the live studio audience. I didn't realize how much goes into it. Like there's people keeping track of the crowd. There's people making sure there's going to be a live studio audience. You're giving away tickets for free. You're kind of managing the guests, making sure they're in the wings before they go out. So it was cool. It was a very involved internship. I was very satisfied with the experience. And you're also interacting with like adults who are working in the industry.
Yeah.
You're learning how to speak, like the verbiage and the talk of like, you know, how the industry lingo. And that really helped when I moved out here because I already had that experience a little bit. I feel like that it kind of takes some people a little bit to get accustomed to that.
Totally. And you kind of got ahead of the game by getting, on those sets. Because Temple has a great program they have their own television talk shows. I co-hosted like We Need to Talk, which was like a women-run talk show.
Oh,
and
cool.
like those are really cool experiences. But I think getting on like those big sets, like on a studio lot, is really cool way to kind of like get that experience before making the move to LA.
Big time. And the last thing with that, one of the shows I was on was called The Chew, and unfortunately I was interning on it. When it got canceled, they were making Good Morning America an hour longer, so it wasn't even a typical cancellation of like, oh, the views just aren't there. Just Good Morning America was very popular, 2 hours, and they're like, let's make it 3. And that was a pretty, not harrowing, well, I guess, yeah, harrowing thing to witness.
Yeah.
But it was also a really good experience where, hey, this show had been on a while. Some things are pretty unpredictable in this industry, and you kind of need to be prepared. So that also very much influenced, my approach when I moved out here.
Totally. And kind of good to get accustomed to that because things change in entertainment at the drop of a hat, and kind of like having that understanding and awareness.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, things really change.
Yeah. So then graduating Temple and moving out to LA, what were your first steps out here?
Oh, man. Well, yeah, so did the program. So my senior year, spring semester, was out here. And that was great because it kind of felt like I was in a program.
Yeah.
I'm with like a whole other class of people doing the same thing.
Right.
It's an intimidating city. Like there isn't a city that took me longer to get accustomed to than LA. Usually, like I've been to Chicago, New York, Philly, and a month you're kind of into it. Like I get it.
Yeah.
Here it took me like north of 6 months to really get a vibe.
Totally.
And it was 2019, so it was pre-COVID. I had 2 internships. I was at this place called AfterBuzz TV, which was a talk show network, and I was also doing script coverage for a development company that does movies. They did this movie called The Shallows with Blake Lively. So I kind of knew them. There was a Temple grad who was also my like manager there.
Oh, cool.
And it was great. It was definitely like a variety. I was trying to get as much exposure to the types of work out here. So that was more of like a development job, and the other one was more of a production job, hands-on, working in podcasts. I've always been very extroverted, so I look forward to networking.
Yeah.
And meeting people. So they were great, and one of them ended up hiring me. So I had a job locked in. After graduation, my mission was accomplished. I was psyched, and I felt very vindicated and validated about just my whole entire approach to the move, which was great. And I feel very grateful for that.
Yeah, and props to you on accomplishing that goal of
Thanks.
like I'm gonna have this lined up
You gotta
and
manifest it.
yeah,
Yeah.
totally. And so you said you were working like development and on the production side of things.
Yes.
What is like the biggest differences between what are the biggest differences between the two?
The biggest differences between the two. Well, with so yeah, the development one was the script coverage internship.
Yeah.
But I mean, development, it's usually the pre-pro. Like, do you have something here? Is this worth pursuing? Like, should I hand this to the boss to take a closer look at? Or if they have to interview with the writer, they have coverage, so they get the gist of the story and can kind of talk with them at length about it. What was interesting about the development one was it was a lot of reading.
Yeah.
And it was exciting. In fact, like the first script I picked up, they actually made, which is crazy.
Wow.
Yeah, it was called The Survivor, and it was like an HBO original movie. Wild, dark movie, but it was good. That was cool.
Yeah, it's super cool.
It was neat, but yeah, the production one was way more hands-on.
Yeah.
Like producing shows, live editing, learning a bunch of skills, using a lot of the skills that like I learned in college from editing and production. It was neat. It was definitely like a great experience, and also just like your first real job out of college. Because I'd worked all throughout college on like in the summers and winters, and even like I think a little before college when I was in high school. So I knew like what it was like to work. But I felt very prepared and like wasn't intimidated, and that's like what I needed to move out here to feel comfortable.
Yeah. And then from that job, what was your next step?
Well, okay, so I can just tell you, so the first year in LA, I was at this, talk show network, working really long hours. Like I will say, they were pretty brutal hours. It was 12-hour days, like 6 days a week, which was nuts.
Wow.
And I thought I was just kind of, doing my time, like, oh yeah, it's just like what everyone does when they come out here for the first year.
Yeah.
Putting in the work, and but I was taking it in stride because I was learning a lot. And then COVID happened, 2020, and we went like fully remote, and I was in like a bit of a tricky situation because I learned a bunch of great things from that work experience and met like some really good close friends, but also learned like, okay, this is how to spot some red flags, and also spot when like maybe it's time to go for me. Like a lot of their employees, they were putting up at like a house that the heads of the company owned.
Okay.
So we were kind of like living together, which was great because it was like no rent at the time for a kid like right out of college. But they were also kind of taking that out of the pay. And when COVID hit, it's like, oh, I'm kind of like living at work, and it just like wasn't a good cocktail, a mixture.
Yeah.
That was not great, but
that's tough.
It was very tough.
Yeah, because you can't like go home from work. You're in it.
I know. And for a while, I kind of felt. Eventually, they ended up furloughing the staff, unfortunately. And semi-fortunately. Like, it was kind of my time to go. But it was a great experience because I learned, like, all right, it made me realize, like, I got to keep track of when I feel like I've grown all I can at a certain job.
Yeah.
And also just, like, is this a condition that's going to be healthy for me? And sometimes you don't know until you experience it.
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was that job.
Okay. Yeah.
And then, so after that, I mean, COVID was crazy, as everyone, experienced. But out here it was really nuts because I moved out here for work. And everyone has different reasons for coming to LA. That was definitely my main reason. So when the pandemic hit, it became like not an enjoyable place for me to live out here. And it was also really expensive and just a lot of like unopened questions. So I actually went back to Philly for 6 months.
Okay.
Because I hadn't seen my family and was doing some work over there. And the whole time I kind of kept networking. Like it's so great to keep in touch with people. I remember like your guest, Christian Crosby, he had a line where he was like, your resume is like the company you keep or something like that.
Yeah.
I might get that wrong. But that is like, your network's like everything.
Right.
And one of my friends from Temple, Darian, he's the nicest guy. He is an editor, and he was going to be a post coordinator on this show. And I had kind of heard the job description, and it definitely sounded like something I could totally do. And he knew I was looking for a job. And when you're an editor and you want to get into a union, you have to get your hours. So he accepted this job as a coordinator, but then like a couple days later was offered an opportunity. I hope he's probably fine with me sharing this. He was offered an opportunity to get his hours, and he thought of me to take his place. So he wasn't just going to leave them high and
Ah.
dry. Hey, I have someone who can,
Yeah.
there's an opportunity I can't pass up. I have someone who can take my place,
Yeah.
which I was so grateful that he thought of me. And then that kind of added a pressure. I was like, I got to live up to his rec.
Right.
And
Totally.
that got me back out here, and that kind of got me into post-production. I sort of fell into it.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's really awesome.
Really great.
Yeah. And for, sometimes you have to make those tough decisions of when that opportunity does come that you can't pass up. But I think that's the right thing to do, kind of put someone forward that, you're not leaving them out to dry.
Big time.
But how cool that the power of networking and just knowing people, he thought of you, and then it ended up, changing the trajectory of your career.
Big time.
Yeah.
And I think like I've also had the opportunity and even like pleasure to kind of like give someone a lending hand or like a leg up.
Yeah.
And that's like really rewarding. I feel like you got to pay it back.
Absolutely.
That's a big thing. Because you never know, like they might, in a couple years, they might be your boss, or they might be hiring or need help again. And it's also, I totally believe in karma. Like good karma. Put something good out there, it'll come in return.
Totally.
But yeah, I was very, very grateful for that, because it was a job I just didn't know much about. Post-coordinating. I call it it's the administrative side of post-production.
Yeah.
I think most people, when they hear post-production, just think it's editing.
Right.
And no, there's a lot of scheduling. There's like executives who work in post. There's still contract production coordinators like you have on set, but for post-production. And that was the main role I've been doing for the past 4 or 5 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what does a day on your call sheet look like now? What's a day in your life at that job like?
As a coordinator?
Yeah.
As a post coordinator, so the job of a post coordinator, I've only worked on TV shows. I would love to work on a movie someday. That's like a big goal of mine. But on TV shows, there's 3 parts to it. So there's right before they're shooting and shooting, which is like the dailies. So the main part of your job is reviewing the footage they shot the day before and seeing if there's any issues with it. And some shows, if it's like a newer show and the network's really excited to like see how it's going, you're quality checking it and then making sure it's good to send off to the studio where they can watch like clips and see, does it look all right? Especially the first episode. Like everyone's kind of making sure this is what everyone agreed on and is the vision coming through. So there's the dailies part of it. Then there's the actual editing part of it where the editors they might still be shooting, but they're like putting together the editor's cut, the director's cut, a studio cut, a network cut, so on and so forth. It's different depending on where you work.
Yeah.
But a lot of the job is like making sure you're on schedule, setting up the editors, making sure their systems are in place, being familiar with like what tech they need, and are you pulling the tech from a vendor, or is the studio you're working with, are they providing it? Like it's a lot of vendor relationships and making sure you're kind of staying on budget and on time. And then the last part is ADR. So while they have cuts being put together, rough cuts for all the episodes, there's a running list of like that we didn't get a clean line read from this actor, or we don't have a clean line read of that, or maybe we want to change something in the story and have them say something else, and maybe it's like an over-the-shoulder shot and we see their mouth moving, but we can change the line. There's a running cue sheet or ADR list of just lines you need, and it's the coordinator's job to reach out to the actors' reps, find what their availability is, and see where they're at, like location-wise. So if they're in LA, okay, they're in LA this day, they're free, I'm going to book an ADR recording session then. And this also works for our creatives who need to be on there who are going to direct the session. Maybe like the supervisor's going to direct the session. I've had to do it a couple times when it's like, minor things, but that's really cool because it's a really like essential role. And it doesn't sound like the most creative, but there are like a ton of opportunities for that, like getting stock footage. Every wide shot in majority of shows uses stock footage. Like they don't typically have a drone going up and shooting it.
Right.
It's already like a pre-approved, we're selling this on Shutterstock or Getty Images.
Yeah.
That type of thing. And then when the show starts to end, it's scheduling screenings. Like we're going to do the color, we're going to do the sound, the music. You really get to see the show get made.
Yeah.
And that's my favorite part of it. And I've seen like a variety of different types of shows get made now. And I feel like I have a really good understanding of the process. So if I'm ever doing like a personal project, it's definitely helped with that.
That's awesome.
And it's made me realize just how valuable or invaluable editors are.
Yeah, definitely. And a world that you didn't expect to get into, but now
Right.
all the things you've been able to take from it, that putting together a personal project, you have this like all this knowledge now that you wouldn't have had before.
Oh my gosh, yes. And I went so the first show I worked on was called Reacher season 1 with Alan Richardson. It's on Amazon Prime Video. That was like a Skydance show, and the person who hired me kind of took a chance,
Yeah.
and I was eternally grateful, and it went really well. And my whole goal was like, I'm just gonna kick butt on this.
Yeah,
Like that was my whole world for that first show, because if I do a good job, it could lead to the next one.
totally.
And contract jobs in post are way longer than they are in like regular production. Like usually a movie shoot or a TV shoot might last a couple weeks or maybe a month or two.
Yeah.
But these contracts for post are usually like upwards of a year. So, or close to a year or more.
Yeah.
And I like that consistency because it's not like a full-on corporate job where you could be in that for multiple years.
Right.
It's like you get to see an entire thing get made, and you work a little more closely with the editors and your coworkers. You're kind of like your team.
Yeah.
And I really like that.
That's really interesting because like working production, I feel like the longest one I was on was like 2.5, 3 months. So
wow.
it kind of feels like, I always say it's kind of like summer camp. You know, you're spending so much time with people. You get close because you're spending 12-hour days with people, but then it's done so quickly, you know? And that's interesting that in post, it can last upwards to a year or a little over, which then you're really able to form these like connections and relationships with people and have more like unity as a team because it doesn't just go by so fast.
Big time.
Yeah.
And I really committed to post, especially because it was during COVID, where post was the only thing hiring, and I just happened to really like it. It's not like the end all be all for me.
Yeah.
I have other, like, I'm like to be a producer, and I am a story producer right now, which is great. But it's been good and consistent. I think like you sometimes need to do a lot of jobs like that.
Yeah.
To make a living and keep going, and also get you closer to your other goals.
Totally. So tell us about story producing.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so another Temple alumni. His name's Kalen Allen.
Yeah.
Incredible talents. He was on the Ellen DeGeneres show over the last couple of years while that was on, and has also been on Broadway. He's a journalism, master's.
Yeah.
This dude's brilliant. We had a couple classes together.
Wow.
Like we overlapped at Temple, and like first semester we had to do a project together. And we did it on Beyonce, which was of his choosing.
I love that.
Oh my God, that was great.
That's awesome.
It was all in like Tidal. And I just remember like thinking, man, this guy is like so talented. He's so passionate about everything he talks about. And when he kind of went viral and he became a celebrity, I just remember like that was so surreal. And I was out here in LA along the time when that was happening. But we've stayed in touch, and he kind of we've kept in touch. We have a few people in common and in the talk show space.
Yeah.
So just this past year, he was in New York for a while. He came back and we reconnected, and he had mentioned there's this show called Fox Reality Check that he had just been a host for a season, and they're about to do season 2. He wanted to kind of change up the tone or the overall like energy and layout of the show. And he was sweet enough to have me to invite me to pitch segments, and I went in like very confident and just kind of boldly pitched a bunch of stuff, and the production company was very impressed, and they hired me, which the production company was Kids at Play, and they're great. And it was my first time kind of being like a full-on story producer for a production this big.
Yeah.
And was working very in tangent with Kalen, and it was so awesome. So like a day as a story producer, the whole premise of this show is I don't know if you ever heard of like Watch What Happens Live.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So
that's
I'm a
like
big reality TV.
Big reality.
Yeah.
Well, what's so great about that show is it's sort of a weekly talk show for Bravo.
Yeah.
So every Bravo show, you don't even need to watch them all, but you can tune in to Watch What Happens Live, and he might have a guest from like a ton of different shows that don't necessarily connect.
Right.
And it's still gonna be really entertaining because it's also like the Andy Cohen show.
Yeah.
That's kind of the vision for this show. It's with the Fox reality and competition shows like The Masked Singer, the new Fear Factor, all the Gordon Ramsay projects, like Next Level Chef and Master Chef,
Yeah.
and oh my God, they're all. I'm blanking on a bunch of these right now, but they're tons of different shows.
Totally,
Where we
yeah.
have guests on who like compete, and Kalen would interview them. So
That's so fun.
we kind of modeled it a
Yeah.
little bit off of that, while also bringing in a little bit of like Pee Wee's Great Adventure. And we wanted to have some of it be scripted and just be really fun, because the goal is to promote those shows.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like I wanted to make sure it's also like the Kalen show, and it's just been a blast. Like I love producing it. It's been like a really amazing creative outlet.
Yeah.
And I've absolutely loved it. Probably my favorite thing I've been involved with out here.
It's so cool how that temple connection has really helped in so many different areas of your career, and how you're kind of back working with a previous classmate. Like that's really amazing.
It really does kind of feel like, when we were doing a group project, and now we're doing it for like a big company, and it's online, and but it's been great, and it's just been like a really great creative outlet, and I absolutely love it. I really hope we get to continue doing it.
Yeah. How do you go about coming up with those segments and prepping your pitches?
Well, so I love talk shows.
Yeah.
I've been like a big podcast listener.
Me as well.
When I was doing those commutes to New York, I was listening to podcasts nonstop. Even like when I was in high school and I fell in love with movies, I had friends who also really liked movies, but no one who was kind of on the same level as me in terms of like, I'm like obsessed. This is crazy. And I kind of looked towards YouTube and also podcasts and found like, oh, these guys are into this as much as I am.
Yeah.
So I've always been like a big talk show listener, and just find them really fun, easy to watch, and you kind of get to see a different side of people. And some of my favorite talk shows have games or have like a segment they do every episode. And so I would always think of those, but it's, for me as a producer, it's knowing the host or the talent and identifying like what their strengths are, and coming up with a segment that both utilizes those strengths and also allows like them and the other guests they might be talking to a platform to like be really fun and creative and maybe learn something new about them. So with Fox Reality Check, like Kalen is I could like just, swoon and talk about Kalen for hours, but he's like he knows who he is, and he's like such an entertaining presence, and he'll always have an opinion on something. So if we come up with a segment, it's most of the time just come up with like a fun activity, and he'll know how to, carry the conversation with the guest. I like that show Hot Ones is so amazing because they're eating wings. They're hot wings. And it gets you like vulnerable, start talking about whatever. Just coming up with an activity is half the battle.
Got it.
And just hoping like put the host in a position where they can thrive.
Yeah.
Don't overthink it. Like a big thing for me is like I'm really sensitive about identifying overly produced segments on things. Like the second I can kind of feel like a producer's hands on something, it starts making me question the whole thing.
Yeah.
The whole project. Like, okay, is this like scripted? Is this not like an authentic game they're playing? So less is more a lot of the times. You just got to come up with like an intentional segment.
Yeah.
Like that uses the host's strengths.
Totally.
Yeah.
When I had Raina Hill on, the producer for The Bachelor, she was talking about planning dates for the reality stars, but you don't like it's not scripted or like overly prepped where you know what people are going to do. It's kind of giving the premise of like, this is what the date's going to be. We're going to have like a airplane fly by or dolphin jump here.
Yeah.
But like what the stars do is what the stars do. So it makes sense, like kind of prepping an activity, having sort of a template, and then letting Kalen do his thing and thrive.
100%.
Yeah.
And then like that's at least my approach to it.
Yeah.
I think like there's
Makes
tons
sense.
of other brilliant producers who have different approaches, but that's just what I'm a fan of. So I will naturally do like what I feel confident producing. And I think like just staying true to, what I find is fun and entertaining is the number one thing. Like the second you try to diverge, I feel like people can always see through that.
Totally. And so also in Los Angeles, you ended up meeting your filmmaking idol.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Yeah, this is big. Oh my gosh. Well, so this is kind of like the true Hollywood story. Like, what was your LA moment?
Yeah.
Yep. So my favorite filmmaker is this guy named Jim Cummings. I discovered him in college, where I'm a big Bruce Springsteen fan. Like my dad loves Bruce Springsteen. He became my favorite. Like I've seen him live like almost 10 times,
Wow.
maybe more. And he's the best.
Yeah.
He's the boss. And he has a song called Thunder Road. And anyway, one of my friends sent me the short film titled Thunder Road, thinking like, oh, you might like this. And it was about this guy giving like a eulogy, and his mom was a dance choreographer, and she loved the song Thunder Road. And he like is kind of having like a breakdown doing this eulogy. And it's a sort of like dark comedy where he puts on the song and starts dancing in front of like this entire funeral crowd.
Yeah.
And it's all one take. And I remember being like, whoa, like that was all one take. And it probably wasn't made for too much, and it conveyed so much emotion, and I loved it. But it felt like it should have been a scene in a feature. And I got an email like that night from the Philly Film Festival, and Thunder Road was on it, and it was like 88-minute runtime. So then I did this whole deep dive and was like, oh my God, he went to Sundance. He got money, made the feature, and I saw it and I loved it. And I was like, I got to meet this guy. So when I was my first year out in LA, I found out what like production company he worked with, and just kind of visited one day, and they were so sweet and nice, and they were like, yeah, we do this weekly think tank where we like, it's just for people who are aspiring screenwriters. They can submit a script and get free feedback.
Oh, cool.
And it's just kind of like a networking way to
Yeah.
meet people, get feedback on a script in person, not just like over an email. So I was already doing coverage. So I was like, well, what's another script to read?
Yeah.
And I went for like 7 or 8 months every Wednesday and never met him, just like became tight with this, production company. But I met this producer who just as cool. Her name's Natalie. And she invited me to PA on like her short. And then I did a good job on that. And she's like, well, we're doing reshoots for Jim's new movie. Do you want a PA on that? I'm like, yeah.
Yeah. Like, absolutely.
And I went and like, she knew I was a fan and
Yeah.
introduced me, and he literally couldn't have been kinder.
Wow.
It was just like a perfect Hollywood LA moment of like, oh yeah, this guy's like super down to earth, couldn't be kinder, and now we're like buds.
That's
And I
awesome.
even helped out and had like a small acting role in like his movie after that.
Wow.
So cool. Like that was a lot of like my approach to this industry has been like having very clear goals that are achievable.
Yeah.
And realistic. Like you can shoot high, but I think like I had a goal like, oh, I'd like to meet him one day, and just kind of naturally thought like, okay, get tight with his production company. Oh, and the people are great, and oh, he needs help I'm now the PA there, and I just kind of putting yourself in a position and like trusting your own intuition and being persistent and consistent and like showing up. That's always worked for me for manifesting. That's worked for me for meeting him, working at like Marvel Studios, and even with doing the story producing with Kalen. Like you kind of just need to, quoting Flashdance, take your passion and make it happen.
Yes. I love that you just quoted Flashdance.
Oh
That's like my
gosh.
mom's favorite.
I'm quoting
Yeah.
movies. Like half the words I say are movie quotes.
I love it. But that's so cool that it was such a positive experience. Because
Oh my God.
sometimes people say, like, don't meet your idols and things, but it's so great that, it was such a great moment.
Oh yeah, and very inspiring. Like
Yeah.
that's the type of stuff. Like that's why I moved out here.
Yeah.
So like you got to go for it. I
Right.
think like knowing like what the goal is, and that was a cool moment to meet him, but also
Yeah.
like to see how he is on set and like
Yeah.
directs. Like that was the bigger takeaway for me. It was a great experience.
Totally. And
God, I need some water.
you're all good. But yeah, like that is why we move here, because in Philly, those things wouldn't have the probability of happening like they would in LA.
Right.
Like those moments, I think that's what's so cool is the opportunities here, and
Mhm.
those things, once in a lifetime opportunities or things that seem so far away could just happen.
Big time.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean like goals. I'm like big on goals.
Yeah.
And and affirmations, and also like checking in on myself every week on like what am I doing to get closer to this goal.
Yeah.
But I've also learned over the past couple of years like goals change. Like I think the city's changed a lot. Like I was here before COVID, during COVID, after multiple strikes.
Yeah.
Like it's been a lot of bobbing and weaving, and I've kind of learned it's just not ever going to be consistent. Like it's
Right.
very, not only like just the industry itself, but LA, like it's very ever changing.
Yeah.
And I think it's like naive to sometimes like ignore that stuff. especially if it's, impacting some of the goals. So I do think like there are plenty of opportunities you cannot get anywhere else than LA, but it's becoming more and more like maybe you can do them elsewhere.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah, things are building, like, especially in Jersey. There's, like,
I
all this
know.
production and stuff happening
Fort
there.
Monmouth.
Yeah.
What
Yeah.
else? Is that like Netflix, right?
Yeah.
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 Or
I'm curious to
Yeah,
see
I'm
what
curious.
happens. Yeah.
I never thought I'd have to pay attention. This actually connects to post. I never thought I'd have to pay attention to like state tax policy as much as I
Yeah.
need to, because a lot of jobs, especially right now for post production, are not in LA. Like because
Right.
there's a minimum you have to pay people out here. A lot of them go to Canada, the UK. It was Georgia
Yeah.
for a while because there was a tax incentive, and these tax incentives only last like a couple years, if that, and sometimes they get randomly like taken away. And I'd heard about that in college, but it's become like the main thing.
Yeah.
Like when I was at Marvel, they shot everything in Georgia, and then my last year there, they were pivoting everything to they're pivoting everything to the UK
Yeah.
because they got a better tax incentive. And that's also like a reality of sometimes like you got to pay attention and recognize when like some outside forces are impacting, your field,
Yeah.
and kind of prepare accordingly.
Totally. Yeah, I think being, like, up to date, like, reading what's in the trades, Deadline,
Right.
Variety, like, kind of staying up to date on the news in your industry so that you have a kind of 360 understanding of everything that could be impacting the work you're doing.
Absolutely. And then that was
Yeah.
actually a big reason why I got into the story producing was I wrapped up on a show with Netflix last year, and I didn't have something immediately lined up. So I took this kind of like post-corporate job that smaller company, and they ended up downsizing a bunch of people out of nowhere, and I was included. But it just became really clear last year, oh, okay, this field is in a space right now where like there's not a lot of things hiring in LA specifically
Yeah.
for post, and it might be coming back any day. But when I got presented with this opportunity to work as a story producer, I was like, I'm going to go for it.
Yeah.
And that was a freelance job. So before that, I've been taking more like corporate positions or long-term contracts, and now I'm
Yeah.
a freelancer
So it's,
because it works for me right now. So you gotta
Yeah.
be flexible, I think.
Yeah, I think that's great advice.
Yeah.
Yeah, because things can change. But if you want to stay in this industry, kind of figuring out where to pivot and what's right for you.
Always like check in with yourself.
Yeah.
Does this work for me right now? Is this worth like going out on a limb for?
Right.
Taking a jump, a risk, a leap of faith.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So let's get into some segments.
Yes.
This one is called Hot Takes in Hollywood. So it's
Okay.
going to be a quick this or that.
Okay.
Alrighty. Production or post?
Oh man. I think you can have your absolute best and worst day in production.
Yeah.
You can like watch magic happen and unfold, and like, how do we shoot that? And also have like the most dreary, devastating, brutal long day in the heat and the cold, whatever. So I'm gonna go with post-production.
Yeah. All right.
That's a little more consistent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Unscripted or scripted?
Scripted.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right.
Big scripted guy. I mean, I've definitely been watching more reality TV as of lately, which I know that's not all unscripted, but I love scripted kind of.
Yeah. Early call time or late night editing session?
Oh man, early call time, because personally I'm like way more focused in the morning.
Yeah.
It might even be the ADHD. Like at night, after 9 o'clock, I have a really hard time focusing. Like it's not like the end of the world. It's just I'm not as dialed in. Like
Yeah.
Bright and early, I can get a lot done.
People are totally one or the other.
Yeah.
Because for like me, sometimes on set I like an early call time because if I start getting at 5 a.m., I can get off at 5 p.m. and kind of have my nights. But I find myself like sometimes my brain starts going at night. Like my creativity locks in, but then the next day I'm tired. So I think sometimes I'm like a night.
I go through seasons.
Yeah.
I'm very inconsistent. I think more times than not I'm the morning, but there are definitely times where like I'm gonna put this off, and then like, oh yeah, I have the energy to do this right now, and it's
Yeah.
late, I'll just knock it out.
Yeah.
Whether it's an edit, but AM.
Totally. And last one, movies or television?
Movies.
Yeah.
I've worked in television, but movies.
Yeah.
Movies are like everything to me.
All right, so now we're going to do some fact or fiction. We're
Okay.
going to bust some myths about the industry.
Let's do it.
All right. The first one is you have to know someone to break into the industry.
To break in?
Yeah.
Well, okay, it's a myth. And there's like plenty of evidence.
Yeah.
I mean, Kalen's a perfect example.
Yeah.
But I think like it is a fact the majority of people do need to know someone. It's possible to get into it and not, but you do need to know someone. So yeah, everyone you meet, like treat with respect because you never know when that connection might be useful.
Totally. Post-production isn't creative.
Oh my gosh, myth.
Yeah.
It's the last draft of the screenplay. Like I've seen it.
Yeah.
Like you could write everything and in post you change the whole order of things, change the entire project. Like post I think is maybe the most creative part.
Interesting.
I really do.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's an editor's medium. I think especially for movies, it's an editor's medium. You're cutting the film together. So
Yeah.
like timing, rhythm, that is I think people really undervalue like how creative that stuff is. Like knowing beats is huge.
Yeah, totally. Freelancers
You're gonna
have
edit that segment.
yeah. Freelancers have more freedom.
Ooh, I think so. I think that you have more freedom. Well, I'm kind of in the throes of that right now.
Okay.
So I don't know if I confidently speak on that because I think like I had always avoided freelance because I'm the type of I have an anxious personality.
Yeah.
And I think it would kind of make me anxious going from like job to job each week.
Yeah.
That was my idea of freelance. But now I know that's sometimes the case for like a couple weeks or months. And once you have like a network or consistent clients, that's a temporary thing.
Yeah.
I do think though, like if you are doing freelance right, it can be a lot more freeing.
Yeah.
A lot more flexible with your schedule.
Right.
So I'll say more freeing.
All right. And last one, if your goals have changed, you failed.
Oh my God, absolute myth.
Yeah.
My goals have changed a lot over the past couple of years. This is very personal and serious, but it's all good. I had a parent who was like very sick in 2023. With like a cancer diagnosis.
Wow.
And they're okay, like they beat it.
Good.
But it definitely made me rethink a lot of things, just about like life goals, what you want to do with your time, and also just I think the industry changes.
Yeah.
So like it might be it was definitely my dream and still is to produce and work on movies with like people whose creative visions I also align with, but it's like we're in the heyday of TV right now. To me, like working on movies was them in the theater, and a lot of them are streaming. So when those things change, like I think it's very natural for your goals to change.
Yeah.
I also think like I'm in a place right now where I have career goals, but most of my goals are like having property. Like that'd be great.
Yeah.
That's
right.
kind of tough for our generation.
Yeah.
Or just working in general, like getting through. It's a tough time right now. I think. That's all right. Like if the goal is, oh yeah, I stayed employed this whole year, I made a decent living, and I was able to like, see my family or go back to the East Coast for a couple weeks and like, enjoy the weekends. Like that can be a goal too. I'm not saying like have like a short sight, but I think like, I actually think it can be bad if you don't consider changing goals sometimes.
Yeah.
Like if you're just stuck on one thing and ignoring,
Yeah.
what's going on around you.
I really love everything you just said there. Nice. Like, I needed to hear that too. And I think, like, people change. Like, we change. So then our goals, it's okay if your goals change then too. I think sometimes, like, we can be laser focused on one thing. And then if we start to, change, and then we're like, wait, I don't know if that's actually the lane that I want to go in, but I've worked already so hard towards this. Is that the right decision? Am I allowed to have that flexibility with myself and give myself that, chance to explore that? And so I really like the way you phrase that because you can.
I think we're all a product of our experiences.
Yeah.
And like in high school, for like a year was like, maybe I'll be an actor.
Yeah.
And then when at Temple, I remember I did a theater minor, and I was around other people who were like, they're ready to just do this.
Yeah.
And I realized like, oh, I don't want this. And I actually have like a massive respect for all actors because there's a lot of sacrifice. It's a lot of like, you're auditioning and being judged and things are out of your control. And I just kind of learned, oh, I'm the type of person who, you know, that's a little bit similar in an interview, but like it didn't sit right with me to like have to audition like that. And I just knew that's not for me.
Yeah.
So my goal changed. And I love that like that works for a lot of other people. But I think it's perfectly normal for goals to change.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
So Crafty Corner.
Crafty Corner.
What does your ideal dream crafty look like?
Like food-wise?
Yeah.
Like on set?
Yes. Like if you got to pick the snacks that were going to be on set, what would you pick?
Well, as someone who's had to plan Crafty before, I mean, you got to have, I'm taking everyone else into account. So, I mean, California Chicken Cafe, which is an LA staple. You can get, I think having like a buffet style, but also having like a vegetarian option for, those who don't want to eat like a meat or a protein like that. Gluten-free option.
Yeah.
But like I would want, like I think like a chicken with, my mom's spaghetti,
Nice.
probably like my dad's salmon or ribs.
Ooh.
My parents are great cooks.
Love it.
Yeah, and then I'd even go with like smoothies. Like let's get I almost said Jamba, but I feel like people would roll their eyes on that. Let's get like an acai option.
Yes.
And yeah,
especially on a hot day.
And assume people didn't like eat breakfast before and have that there.
Yes.
Have all the a ton of food. Like
totally, all the food groups.
Partnership with the Crafty company.
Yes.
And do that. Partner with my parents. To do that. That would probably be my dream. Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome.
What about you?
Oh, great question.
Okay.
I feel Dots pretzels are like my go-to. They need to be on the Crafty table.
love Dots pretzels.
They're so good.
I love Dots pretzels. I'm obsessed.
They're so good.
The best. What's the red? Is that original?
Yes, that's the one I like.
Dots?
Yes.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Ooh, Poppy. I want Poppy soda.
Yes, Poppy's good.
They
have a new Love Island one, I think.
They
too.
do.
Yeah.
No, I'm obsessed with Poppy in like an unhealthy way. I have too much of it. I know it's prebiotic soda, which is probably a lie. I mean, it's not a lie, but it's probably just not as like healthy as they say it is. The thing that drives me crazy about Poppy though is the prices are incredibly inconsistent. Like I actually have a running Instagram story about Poppy and their inconsistent deals where it's like $9.99 for a 4-pack, but it's 3 for $5. It's like, why don't we just buy 4 cans? And actually, doesn't make any sense. Sorry, I will get going on Poppy. But I want that there.
Well, speaking about myths, what's your industry? What's on your industry betrayal list?
Betrayal?
Yeah, like your industry ick.
Oh, my industry ick.
Yeah.
Ooh. Okay, I have 2. I think the first one would be, I think it's a myth or an ick that you have to be somewhere for a year, your first job out of college. That was something I remember hearing a lot, and I don't think that's true. I think generally that's a respectful thing to do if it's a good fit, even if it's not like your favorite job. Like sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do.
Yeah.
But if you're in like a bad situation and it's actively hindering your life, like life's too short, like you look for something else. Yeah, I mean, sometimes that's a luxury to be able to do that, but I don't think you need to be at your first job out of college for like a minimum of a year.
Do you think it looks bad on the resume if you don't stay there for a year?
Sorry, I don't.
No,
I don't.
Yeah, it's really interesting because I think a lot of people have this question, especially post-grad, like thinking I have to at least do a year because is someone going to question, that on my resume if they see, like, why did I leave or what happened there? So I'm really curious, your opinion.
I mean, like, those are very valid questions, especially when you don't have a lot on your resume. But I think like that's absolutely worth taking into account. I just think some people hear the notion of staying at a place at a college for a minimum of a year, and then it's like, no matter how bad a fit it is, I'm going to stay there. I think like you should try to give a place, several months, but everyone's always going to know like whether this is for them or not at a certain point. And if it's not for you, I think I'm definitely of the belief like you're you're wasting time not pursuing another option or another avenue. Like, if you know this isn't going to be for you, start looking. I'm not saying quit. Like, work it out. I mean, you
Yeah.
got to take care of yourself. You be responsible. But I definitely reject that notion of like no matter what a year.
Yeah.
I think check in with yourself. You'll probably know after 6 months.
Right.
Yeah.
I think that's good advice. Not to also like, if it's not a good fit, don't sacrifice that time because time's something you don't get back.
Mm-hmm.
And to just have your eye open, look for something, and when it's the right time to make that decision for yourself, that it's okay to make that decision.
Big time. I mean, my other
Yeah.
ick, last one.
Yeah.
And this one's probably popular, but I think like, so nepotism's a thing in our industry. It's a big thing. Like a bunch of people. I'm so jealous of
Right.
people who grew up out here and like have a family member in the business because it is like a world of difference. I also think it's a world of difference in that even when you have the job, you're kind of holding yourself a little differently because you have a bit of like more of a fallback.
Right.
But it's a thing. It's a reality, and I think it's not just entertainment. It's almost every industry.
Yeah.
But my biggest ick is when I think people like jump to a conclusion in both directions of, oh, this person's qualified because they're related to so-and-so. Or like, oh, that person only got that job because they're related to so-and-so. I think it's always case by case.
Yeah.
It's never like, we all have done it, but I don't think it's safe to assume like someone just got this job because of that.
Right.
And that immediately means they're not qualified.
Yeah.
I don't have any family members in this industry, so this doesn't apply to me. I've just like noticed that.
Yeah.
And have friends who do, and like, it's this. I think you gotta, you can make your own judgments once you like really know someone.
Yeah, and not have that like prejudice about it, or just assume it's across the board. That, like you said, that case by case.
Yeah. Oh, and then the other ick would probably be like just how expensive it is here, and not getting better.
No,
at all.
No, it's wild.
It's wild.
Every friend I have that comes from Philly and stays like with me for a week is like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's nuts. I mean, and I think it's worth it for a lot of people, especially with the climate, the weather. Like,
it's amazing.
Sometimes you can't put a price on that.
Yeah.
But it's definitely hit a point for me where I'm like, all right, long term, I don't know, like if I could afford to live or buy a property out here, or even if that be wise.
Yeah.
When there's like fires and stuff.
Right.
Or maybe you got to go far away, and then it's like, okay, is that worth it? It's different. So that's definitely an ick for me.
Yeah, totally. I'm right there with you. I love it here, but damn.
Yeah. I know. I'm like, man, I could get like a place in Rittenhouse, Philadelphia for this price.
Right there.
Let's do it.
That's the same thing.
I have a framed photo of Rittenhouse Square. This is nuts. In my office, because it's like, in my mind, I'm like, maybe one day I'll move there and live. And that's like driving me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I hear
That's
you.
the inspiration. That's the ick.
Yeah. I feel that. So, Ryan, you are on Call Sheet Confessions. What is your Call Sheet confession?
Okay. This is semi-name droppy.
Okay.
My Call Sheet confession, I was working at Marvel Studios, which was like a dream experience.
Yeah.
Incredible time there. And I was on this show called Agatha All Along. And we were all in person on the Disney lot. And a bunch of the other shows, it felt like a grad school because there were a bunch of other people my age working on all these other movies and shows, and they were greenlighting everything at that time. And there's this show called Secret Invasion that starred Samuel L. Jackson. He was Nick Fury. And he was having a screening for him and his whole entourage. And they wanted to use our editing pod's screening room. So like our office had all these rooms and a screening room. And they were like, can we use yours for his screening? So I knew he was going to be there. And I was kind of like instructed to, hey, just like give them space, let them go. And they're going to watch like the whole show. And this was such like an ego reality check on my part where I was coming back from the restroom and I noticed like, oh, there's Samuel Jackson. He's with like his whole crew. And they're kind of following me from behind. And at Marvel, they have a bunch of cool stuff from the movies and shows framed like everywhere. Whether it's like a costume in like some kind of glass case from a show or a movie, whatever. They have a ton of cool props all over the place. So you're like in Marvel world a little bit.
Yeah.
And anyway, so I'm in my pod and I'm walking down the hallway and I hear Samuel L. Jackson, like iconic voice. We're talking Frozone. Like you cannot mistake Samuel L. Jackson's voice. Yell like, hey, who's that big white man at the end of the hallway? And I was like, he's got to be talking to me. because I'm tall
Yeah.
and I'm a big white man. Like, he must be talking to me, Samuel Jackson, who I never met. And I turn and I'm like, yo, how's it going? And he's like, not you, man. I'm talking about Moon Knight. There's a Marvel character named Moon Knight
my God.
whose costume's all white, and he was framed. He was like in this glass case at the end of the hall, and he was totally referring to that. And in front of the entire editing team, everyone saw me go like, oh, you're talking to me? Like, very confidently.
Yeah.
And they would not let me forget that for the rest of the show. And I was like, yeah, I don't know what I was thinking. I just like assumed, of course, he's got to be talking to me. So it's very embarrassing, but so funny.
That's hilarious.
And just kind of a cool, like, only in LA, Hollywood, that could happen.
Yeah, right. That's really funny.
Yeah, it was nuts. That was nuts.
Yeah.
I don't know if I have another one. I guess, yeah.
That's a good one.
It's a good one.
Yeah.
It's not as cool as Christian's, where he hurt his butt.
I know, that was pretty wild.
I'm referencing other episodes.
Yeah.
I'm a listener.
Yes, I appreciate it.
Yeah. But no, it was neat. And it was definitely like a pinch me moment.
Yeah.
Okay.
You're like, oh, not me. Oops.
Not me. Yeah.
Yeah.
Dang. Yeah, that's probably my call sheet confession.
Yeah.
I guess, like, if there's an alt, it would be I got to go on a random, like, PA job out here for a Jackson Browne music video. He's a musician. My parents love Jackson Browne. I love Jackson Browne. And his son's name is Ryan. I realized these two stories are actually similar. It's just me, like, misunderstanding someone, thinking they're talking to me. But I was on the set for the shoot, and he was the nicest guy. It was such a cool experience. And at one point, like, he was like, "Yo, Ryan, can you grab me like that water bottle or whatever?" And I instantly, like, grabbed it and handed it to him, and, like, I scared him really bad because he wasn't talking to me. He was talking to his son, and that was just another moment where I was like, shit. Like, I'm assuming I'm, like, way too important at these experiences.
Yeah.
I need to calm down. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's my call sheet confession.
Love it. So for anyone listening that wants to work as a story producer or in post or just in this industry of entertainment, what's your advice for them?
Oh, wow. I think you got to be very intentional. Move with intention in this industry, especially if you're not from here.
Yeah.
I think, like, keep your goals in mind, but also be, like, realistic and have your priorities straight and show up. Like, I think a big thing with LA and in this industry is you really got to, like, go that extra 10% of, like, I might not have the energy to go to this, like, networking event right now, but I'm going to go to it. Or I'm going to show face, or I'm going to do this favor. And just kind of, like, believe in yourself. It's very, it's like motivational speaking kind of talk right now, but I think just, like, being very true to yourself and your goals and not being stagnant. Like, that's definitely something I had to learn out here where, like, okay, I've been doing the same thing for a while because it's very comfortable, but this isn't exactly what I want to do. So I had to go an extra mile and do the thing I want to do on the side, whether it's like a short film or like working on a side project to, you know, help me get closer to that. Like, I think you're kind of doing that with your podcast. In many ways. I think, like, that's the type of hustle and energy you got to have. And just always kind of be doing something. I keep a couple irons in the fire and pay attention. And just, like, really keep tight with your network. Yeah. Like, a big thing in this industry to me is community. Like, having, like, people who are, you know, hey, this is in my network, and then having your friends. And there's definitely a Venn diagram. Yeah. Like, those two things sometimes overlap. Right. But I think having them separate and, like, knowing yourself, like, know what you're capable of doing, and just keep working towards it a little bit every day. Yeah, I think that's great. Tyrese Maxey says 1% better every day. Dude, Tyrese Maxey's the coolest guy. Yes. On planet Earth. I love Tyrese Maxey. Me too. So much. Oh my God. I know, it's so cool that you worked with the Sixers. Oh my God. Oh, my brother got me a Sixers Kith mug for my birthday. Oh, awesome. And every time I drink it, I'm like, oh, I kind of want to go back to, it's not the Wells Fargo Arena. I know, it's the Xfinity Mobile Arena now. I miss it being the Wells Fargo Center. I do too. Yeah. But I mean, like, Comcast is the thing there. Yeah, and it was Wachovia before that, which, yeah. But I know I miss it over there. I love going to Sixers games.
Me too. It's a great feeling being at the Sixers.
It's the
games.
best.
Yeah. And Ryan, are you living your dream?
Am I living my dream?
Yeah.
I think I am.
Yeah.
Especially this past year.
That's awesome.
This was like this past year was the most uncertain year I've had in adulthood, in terms of like jobs and even just like looking at like the world a little bit. Like it can be overwhelming. It can be sometimes you're like very like doubtful and you're second guessing. But with the advice I was just giving earlier, you just gotta keep going and like know like there's seasons for things,
right?
Especially in this industry. Like when it rains, it pours.
Yeah,
I'm a firm believer in that. Like you could be applying to jobs for multiple months, not hear anything, and then you'll get like an offer, and then 3 others will come.
Yeah,
and you kind of need to have a plan for when that happens, and just really make an informed decision. I feel like I am living my dream. Like I moved out here to work with creators whose visions I'm passionate about and like aligned with, and I've definitely been doing that with the Fox Reality Check show.
Yeah.
I've like accomplished a lot of my goals out here with like the shows I've worked on, and just making a living in post. Like that's a goal, and I'm living the dream. I'm doing that. Like I'm working in entertainment and making a living. That's great.
It's awesome. Well, Ryan, thank you so much for coming on Kashi Confessions.
Thank you so much for having me.
Of course. Tell us what's next for you, where we can find you.
Yes. Okay. Well, you can watch Fox Reality Check on the Fox Reality YouTube. Again, it's hosted by Kalen Allen. Always awesome. It's uploaded Saturday. We actually have our big finale this week because Farmer Wants a Wife is wrapping up, so we have all the farmers coming on. It's so cool. So you can I'm on Instagram at Ryan Nilsen _. And yeah, I'm coming up. I mean, that it's just more work on the show.
Yeah.
And yeah, I got a couple other irons to fire with like some shorts. We'll see.
Some fun things.
Yeah, the Phillies are in full swing right now.
Yeah.
So you can catch me at any local game, whether it's against the Padres or the Dodgers, and I'll be cheering for them. But yeah,
awesome.
It's Fox Reality Check, Fox Reality Club, YouTube.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well,
thanks.
Thank you again so much for coming on. This was such a great conversation, and I think there's so many great takeaways from it. And it's so cool how you've pivoted and gone into different lanes in entertainment that you didn't think you would, and found out things that you do like that surprised you. And I just think it's a story a lot of people can really learn from and be inspired by. Yeah.
I appreciate that. Yeah. Thank you so much for having me on.
Of course.
And I'm an absolute pleasure sharing my experience and perspective on the industry at large.
Yes.
Yeah.
And thank you everyone so much for watching this episode of Kashi Confessions. Always make sure to chase the dream and work hard, because if your dreams don't scare you, they're not big enough. May your call times be reasonable and your checks be on time. And like my Mimi always says, break a leg, but not really. We'll see you next time. Bye.